Hello, welcome to the Quakes Motel. My name's Conan, I'm the concierge. Today we're going to be looking at the next part of my workflow, which is sampling into the MPC. Because I have various different ways of doing it, I'm going to do it in parts. Today we're going to be concentrating on the main method I use, using Virtual DJ. Let's jump in. So a quick bit of background before I get into this. You can skip through it if you just want to get to the juicy part. I started crate digging in the 80s, and around about 1998 I started digitizing my record collection up to about 2010, just before I moved to Dubai, about 20,000 records, and then I got rid of all the records and then I moved to Dubai. I felt that they were a burden to me, to be honest. I like to move around, and when you've got 20,000 records, you just can't really move around, to be honest. So I made the decision over a long period, it was a long game, that I would digitize my records, and then it would allow me to do whatever I wanted to do and travel wherever I wanted to travel with a rucksack and some hard drives. And that is all leading up to where I am now. The thing is, I'm old school. I like to sample into my MPC. I don't really drag and drop. I don't really put things onto SD cards or CF cards from the 2500 and then drag them into the MPC. I just don't. I prefer to sample in, so it includes some kind of conversion process, whether it really colors it or not. If you look at the MPC-1, the MPC Live 2, for instance, maybe it doesn't color it too much, but I still have some color coming from my conversion, from my interfaces, from whatever I might be putting in between the file, the in-between bit, and then going into the MPC. I can still add color there because I like to add color on the way. I like to have a conversion process. And this isn't a video about conversions, converters rather. But I like to have a process in between where I have to commit, where I have to imprint a sound, where I bake something in before it goes into the MPC. I just like to work that way. I just find that it's the way that I used to work. You used to compress or EQ, etc., as you went into your MPC, and then you had to work with that sound. There's a kind of process which I think is quite popular nowadays, which I call the Photoshop process. It's been around for a while, it's not a new thing. But basically, the analogy is that when people take photographs nowadays, they will capture the scene and they will think to themselves, I can fix that in post. I don't really need to worry about the white balance. I don't need to worry about the lighting so much. The composition I can change, I can crop it, etc. Go into Photoshop or Lightroom and I can fix it in post. It's that whole fix it in post attitude. And I find that I find that if I drag and drop into an MPC, because this is my workflow, okay? I'm not trying to push it onto other people, but hopefully it inspires other people. I find that if I work in such a way where I drag and drop with a raw file, and I have endless options of what to do with it once it's in the MPC. I can add compression, I can add EQ, or I can add delay, I can add this, I can add that, I can add tape saturation. For me, it messes with my workflow. I prefer to have a vision to start with, which is something that I tend to do. And I might go off on different parallel paths, but I do tend to have a vision. And I like to commit. I like to have the attitude that I'm printing onto tape. So I will do a lot of the work on the sounds that I'm putting into the MPC before they actually even go into the MPC. And one of the main ways that I do it is using Virtual DJ, not just for the imprinting, but the tactile feel of vinyl, and I'll explain in a second. The various other ways that I use, which I'll explain in other videos, are more geared towards imprinting sound, etc. But the Virtual DJ way, which I'm going to show you today, which is how I do most of my sampling into the MPC, it's more about the tactile feel of using vinyl, but being able to manipulate digital files. So having the best of both worlds. Now, as I said, I digitized my entire record collection and now I just have digital files, but I do miss the hands-on feel of having vinyl, of being able to flick through a record, being able to rewind it back, being able to put it onto 45, being able to put it onto 78, which you can do with the new Technics and some other decks as well. So I missed that tactile feel. I missed the hands-on. So what I wanted to do and what I've done over the last sort of 10, 15 years is I've wanted to build up a workflow where I have deck, mixer, MPC, and I can still do the old school way that I used to, where I sample into the MPC, but I'm being able to manipulate I'm being able to manipulate digital files on Virtual DJ. So I've got Virtual DJ in front of me on a screen up here. This is kind of like my main work area. My computer area is over there where I do my emails. I also shoot my MPC1 videos, etc., that you see most of the time if you watch my videos. But this is my workspace. This is where I write music. So in front of me, I have Virtual DJ on a screen. You can't see it, it's out of shot. But that's so that it's right there in front of me. Connected to my computer, I also have a Stream Deck with Stream Deck Plus it is rather, which is the one with the 4 rotary knobs at the bottom, and I can manipulate Virtual DJ. Now obviously I've covered up the names of tracks because I'm an old school b-boy and I don't like to reveal my samples, but I've blurred it out and you can see enough. I think you should be able to, if I do it in edit in post, that you can see that I'm being able to manipulate with the Stream Deck, just being able to flick through it and stuff. So I have one hand on my deck and the mixer, MPC, and I can manipulate the tracks here. So I'm flicking through things. So, you know, let's just say, for instance, I could just click here and that adds a track onto deck 1. Now, the advantages of using Virtual DJ or using a DVS system, you don't have to use Virtual DJ, there's Serato, etc. as well, but I'll go through my process and my reasoning behind using Virtual DJ. One of the main reasons why I like Virtual DJ is, firstly, it reads multiple codings. So if you've got Serato time code, vinyl, or whatever the other ones are, which I can't think off the top of my head, the record box one, the other one, it basically, no matter what time code you've got, Virtual DJ can read it. So that's one of the reasons why I like to use it. But another reason is that the new version of Virtual DJ, you can also add VSTs, etc. in there. You've got hop cues, you can loop, obviously you can change the EQ, you've got filters. On my actual mixer, I haven't got it set up completely, but I've got it set up so that I've got a crossfader and I can use the gains, etc. I haven't bothered with the filters and stuff like that because I can just do it here on the screen with a mouse pointing at it and stuff. You know, so like I said, it's the best of both worlds. I did have it set up on my mixer for a while, but I actually found that I preferred doing it on here. As I said, the other things that I can do when I'm playing the actual tracks, because obviously when you're layering over the top, like say for instance, I'm playing a beat off my MPC. Okay, so that's playing. I've got a track loaded into Virtual DJ. So obviously I can manipulate that with my turntable, which I absolutely love. I can flick through the track as well. It gives me a pretty decent stab at what the BPM is. I know that the BPM on my MPC beat that I've got here is at 95, so I can drop that straight down to around about 95. Just to see if it works, because that's what I like to do. I like to have a beat going and then I like to be able to layer things over the top. And I find that if I'm just playing around with digital files, it's not so easy to do that. You know, you're clicking with your mouse, it's difficult to get it in time. But if you've got, for instance, just turn that down a little bit. If you've got, I think of a turntable as an instrument. I started scratching in the 80s, mid 80s. So I've always thought of the turntable as an instrument. So being able to manipulate my files with my turntable almost as an instrument as such, being able to hit play on the MPC and then play things over the top of it, take the low end out, you know, all the classic things that you do when you've got turntable, mixer, and then MPC. But I'm being able to do it using digital files, using my entire record collection that I digitized and anything else that I buy. And if you use Splice, or if you record yourself rapping, etc., or if you've got some producer tags, or if you play some piano or in your DAW, you can then transfer it into Virtual DJ. Basically, using Virtual DJ gives you the ability to be able to have the hands-on tactile feel of a turntable, which I love personally, but also being able to manipulate digital files. But the other things that it can do, obviously, which makes things a lot easier, is being able to have VSTs in there so that I can affect the sound when I go in. Now, I don't do loads of work when I go in, but what I will quite often do is add tape saturation. I will quite often add some compression. EQ is easy enough. I can just do it in here. I don't start doing surgical EQ. I'll just knock out the low end or knock out the high end, or maybe push the mids a little bit if it's a vocal, you know, but I can load FabFilter Pro Q4 in here and do some very surgical EQ if I want to. But what I do tend to do is, for instance, I've got Studio A800 from Universal Audio here, so I can add some tape saturation. I quite often add a compressor. In this case, I've got the DVX160, another Universal Audio. Whatever compressor you want, there's a ton of different compressors that I use depending on what I'm doing. It might be vocals, I might use an 1176. It might be drums. I might just use a G-Bus SSL. But I'm just showing you these two as an example. You know, and that can just add a bit more color when I'm baking it, where I can bake the sound in and play it into my MPC and record. We'll take those out of the equation just for now. Let's just turn those off. So, like I said, one of the great things about Virtual DJ is that you've not only got the DVS system. Here I'm using a Technics 1200 and an Allen & Heath Zone 24C, but any DVS system is going to work in the same way with Virtual DJ. But you've got the ability to do, you know, your normal things that you would do with vinyl. But the hot cues and the loops are really useful as well, because, for instance, I'm going to do this live, so I'm not going to say it's going to work out. So I'm playing a beat off my MPC and I want to start adding some horns or some vocals or some sound effects, etc. So you get the idea. Being able to very, very quickly just whack a loop in, or, you know, use the hot cues, etc., gives me an idea very, very quickly of whether or not what I'm working with is going to work with the actual what I'm working with in my MPC. And it just makes things, you know, the thing about workflows is refining that workflow to make things easier and quicker. That's what I think a decent workflow is. And, you know, every time you find something that can just take your workflow to that next level where you can, where things are a little bit easier and just a bit quicker, etc., it is better, right? So the way that I've got this set up is it's very, very easy for me in my workflow to layer samples, which is what I absolutely love doing. And I don't have that same kind of feeling if I'm messing around with digital files just on my computer and playing it through iTunes or Windows Media Player or whatever. You know, you don't have the ability to use hot cues, instantly change the pitch control, add VSTs, add some loops, put something else onto deck 2 if I want, quickly flick through things. You know, having the Stream Deck, being able to just flick through things really, really quickly. You know, imagine having endless vinyl and not even having to take them out of the cover, just immediately put them on and being able to just flick through them. It just makes your workflow so quick, so easy. And for me, you know, because I write like this, I tend to write in a way where I will lay down a beat or have a sample in my MPC, and then I want to play things over the top of it. This is just the easiest way to do it. And the thing is that, you know, you've probably seen a ton of videos with people like Alchemist, Madlib, Pete Rock, Primo, etc., and they're in their studio with walls of vinyl. And you're sitting there and you just feel a little bit deflated because you don't have walls of vinyl and you haven't got a studio, etc. But using this technique, it's still a bit of a financial layout. But if you get a DVS system, turntable, mixer, virtual DJ, or record box, or Tractor, or Serato, they're the ones. They're the main ones, as far as I can remember. I think that's it. It was Tractor I couldn't think of. You've got that tactile feel, you've got that vinyl feel, and you don't really actually even have to own any vinyl at all. So there's a lot to take in there. So in summary, it was quite a difficult video to make actually, because I've got a lot going on around me. So, you know, I've got virtual DJ here, I've got cameras all over the place, I've got a microphone taped to my chest, I've got the decks, the MPC, etc. So I hope it wasn't a jumbled mess. But in summary, the point of it is I have all of these digital files from digitizing my vinyl collection, and obviously stuff that I've bought since then, since I moved to Dubai, and more stuff that I get in. I have that on my computer. I have a DVS system set up, which I literally just turn on my deck, turn on my mixer, turn on virtual DJ, turn on my MPC, and start working. And I have that tactile feel of vinyl, which for me is perfect, because that's how I started. That's the way that I like to work, that whole deck, mixer, MPC. And being able to manipulate digital files in the way that you can using more modern technology. Also, not having to have 20,000 records behind me on a wall. I mean, it's a luxury, and there are times when I do miss my record collection, but I'm a bit of a nomad. And it was a burden. 20,000 records takes up a lot of room. And every single time I moved, it was a truck, and it was a nightmare, to be honest. Ask some of my friends. Every single time one of my friends helped me move, they'd only do it once. And the next time I moved, I had to find another friend who was willing to do it, because you only ever wanted to do it once. And I did it multiple times. But this workflow, in summary, gives me everything that I want in a workflow when I'm writing music on my MPC, because I have all of my files, all of my vinyl on a laptop, on some hard drives. I have my deck, my mixer, and my MPC, and I'm done. It's the best. So I hope it inspires you. If you were trying to think of some way of doing it, but you were kind of a bit lost, or you've only got digital files, you've only got Splice or etc. There is a way that you can have that old school feel and add VSTs, etc., etc. You can, like I said, you can wrap, put that into virtual DJ, scratch it up, etc. There's so many things that you can do with DVS. I don't think I've ever even DJed with DVS, come to think of it. I just don't use it like that. But for studio, I don't see many people using it in the studio, which I find really, really weird, because to me, as soon as I saw it, it was my first thought. Because when I DJ, I tend to DJ in the traditional way. DVS for me straight away was, oh my God, that means that I can scratch anything. That means that I can manipulate anything with a turntable, any kind of file, anything that I write in a DAW, any vocal that I've been given, anything that I say myself. You know, I could say just Crates Motel, scratch Crates Motel, done. I don't have to tell you exactly what DVS can do, but I get very enthusiastic about it, because once I had this set up completely and it was exactly how I wanted it, and it's just helped my workflow so much, and I'm pumped, I'm stoked when I switch on my MPC and I sit in this chair and I can just do everything at arm's length, and I have all my files, and it's just brilliant, and I love it. So thanks for watching. This is the Crates Motel. My name's Conan, I'm the concierge. Till next time. Why did I do that?
Concierge.